Hey, and welcome back to Talk of Better Worlds. I'm SirFelixTheCat, and this is The Blender, a show where normally I would be taking a few different forms of media and kind of just mixing them together into one list. However, this week, I kind of just wanted to focus on a love of mine. I like to play a lot of console games, and currently my favorite console of all time is the Nintendo Switch. And on here, I like to play a lot of cozy games, especially those that have farming elements to them. So I figured this week I'd make a list out of them. Now, my love for the genre first started back on the original Game Boy when I first played Harvest Moon. And then later, I bought the PS1 copy of Harvest Moon Back to Nature. In 2004, I bought one of my favorite games of all time, Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life. Now, I haven't really played an entry in this series since they changed the name to Story of Seasons. And I'm going to be upfront right now. People who are a fan of this genre are going to notice I left out Animal Crossing. And that's because I've personally never played an Animal Crossing game. They just never really called out to me. Maybe they're just too cute? I don't know. But here is a list of 7 best cozy games on the Nintendo Switch with farming. Number 7. Moonstone Island. I start off this list with a game that has quickly become my game of the year, Moonstone Island. Though it originally released on PC in September of 2023, it was just ported to the Switch this year, 2024. The simplest way I can describe this game is Pokemon with farming and some alchemy. Here we are on Sky Islands, kind of like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, where our goal is to become a self-sufficient and helpful alchemist to the people who live here. We will spend our time assisting residents with their requests and building relationships, while also collecting monsters that are known as spirits to be studied and used in battles as self-defense as we explore the many islands and delve into the ancient ruins scattered across the map. To differ from your standard monster collecting RPG fare, the battles here use a card-based battle system. You will add new cards to your spirits to use every time you level up, and can upgrade the cards with items that are found along your journey. A very charming game that has so much to do and see. I highly recommend you give this indie hit a try. Number 6. Graveyard Keeper. Next on our list, we have a game that can be considered more mature in theme, and not just because you play as the caretaker of a cemetery. In Graveyard Keeper, you'll be keeping a farm for food, but will also be harvesting organs and body parts for use in crafting the other items that you're going to need, such as candles, which you'll make from body fat, paper, which is made from flesh, and white paint, which is made from bones. But it's not all morbid, as you will also be holding weekly church sermons at the chapel located on the cemetery grounds. You actually will use the products made from the harvested body parts in order to build up and improve the chapel, to draw in more villagers and therefore increase the amount of money that you make from the tithings. There is also a mystery to be solved involving why you are in this land that I'm not going to spoil. So if you want to find out, I guess you're just going to have to pick up this game and give it a try. Number 5. My Time at Porsche. Some may say Porsche, like the cars. Others may say Portia. And then there are those oddballs who say Porta. But the correct pronunciation for this is great game. My time with My Time at Porsche is a time that I think back on fondly, partially due to the character art, which kind of reminds me of Rugrats. I slept on it a bit, not picking it up until 2022, but once I did, I knew I found gold. In this game, you take the role of a builder and will be working with the town hall doing commission jobs for the citizens of Porsche. The aspect that makes it stand out the most to me is that it is set in a post-apocalyptic world. Yes, all this greenery you see on the screen is post-apocalyptic. When not building, you will be exploring the ancient ruins, gathering materials, and setting up quick travel bus stops all across the land. And I cannot stress how important these bus stops are. It's a pretty big map. Number 4, Rune Factory 5. Moving on, we have Rune Factory 5. In a similar vein as Moonstone Island, we have another monster collecting farming RPG. This is a series created by Harvest Moon Story of Seasons developer Marvelous. So right away, you know the aspects of farming and relationships are going to be well done. But the action RPG aspects and the story are what make the game stand out the most. You'll be working on raising powerful monsters and teaming up with the villagers to explore the lands and save the world from a great evil. And if I can offer any advice, when playing, do not neglect to raise powerful monsters. Take your time to focus on 2 parties, one of human villagers and one of collected monsters. No spoilers, but I will say that if you fail to do this, it'll lead to some severe backtracking and heavy grinding later on. Still, this is a game you can easily sink several hours into, and a story that will absolutely help carry you through. Number 3, Harvestella. And now Square Enix takes the stage with a game that I was highly excited for when it was announced at the Nintendo Direct. Harvestella, in my opinion, is farming in a Final Fantasy world. This is another action RPG, and we step into the shoes of an amnesiac protagonist set in a world that seems very foreign to them, as they are not familiar with the phenomenon the phenomenon known as quietus, or of the 4 giant crystalline structures known as the sea lights. The quietus takes place as the seasons change, and it's known as the Season of Death. During this time, the sea lights, each named after a season, i.e. summer sea light, winter sea light, and so on, release a deadly dust that covers the land. This is something the citizens of this world accept as just normal, and take care to not leave the safety of their houses during this time. Not too much is known about the sea light, and so our protagonist takes it upon themselves to explore and see if anything can be done to calm them. This game unfortunately wasn't received too well, as the farming life sim crowd expected just that, when in reality it's a RPG first with farming mechanics mixed in. Still, I highly recommend checking this one out. Number 2, Stardew Valley. You didn't think I was going to skip this one, did you? Much like myself, solo developer Concerned Ape was a huge fan of the Harvest Moon series, and unlike myself, he decided to make a game in a similar vein. Little did he know just how popular his project would be. Being released on every platform, Stardew Valley has gone on to be the biggest name in the cozy farming life sim category, and is one of my favorite war games. Okay, so this isn't really a war game, but it is set during a war, so that counts. We jump into the all too relatable shoes of a character who is tired of their 9-to-5 grind, and need to find a change of pace. It just so happens that your grandpa left his farm to you in his will, so you take off to Pelican Town and see if the farmer's life is something for you. Here we meet a lovely and diverse cast of characters in this small coastal town, and a farm that is in desperate need of some TLC. Not the drama-filled The Learning Channel, but, some tender loving care. There are mysteries to solve, relationships to grow, and tons of money to be made from the crops or products from your farm. If you have not tried this game, what is wrong with you? Have you been sleeping under a rock for the better part of a decade? Also, I should mention that this game does have multiplayer, which is fun as long as you don't have some rando come in with the intent of just destroying your farm. It happens. And number 1, No Man's Sky. Now, I bet you didn't see this one coming. So, this is a bit of a wild card entry, as most would really not call this a farming game, and some may not even see it as cozy. But I'm here to tell you that those voices are mostly right, but I really don't care. This is my list, my rules. First and foremost, No Man's Sky is an exploration game set in space. Here you will travel to different planets in a basically infinite universe. There is some light fighting should you land on a hostile planet, or if the game sends you into a loop of endless pirate attacks, and if that happens, it can literally be fixed just by quickly saving and then reloading the game. However, with a little bit of solar system hopping, you can find a peaceful planet where you can set up base and start your own farm, or in my case, a giant greenhouse. It may not be profitable like in actual farming games, but it is very chill and is a game you can easily sink hundreds of hours into. And say you one day are not in the mood for a cozy game, you can easily jump into multiplayer and go out on an expedition or, do some quests for an alien race that lives in your system. Endless choices with endless possibilities. All these things are what makes No Man's Sky my all-time favorite video game. What's cozy to one person might just simply be boring to another. And I hope that if you're new to this genre, that this list showed you something that you might be interested in. And well, that's really all I had for you this week. But before you go, let me know down in the comments what you think of the genre, if you have a favorite game in it, or if you have any opinions on the ones that I mentioned. Or, simply just say hi and tell me where your favorite place to get tacos is. And until next time, take care. Hey, thanks for watching.
Give us a like if you enjoyed it, and dislike it if you didn't.
Let us know what you think about the channel.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Tell your mom.